So I didn't really prepare anything for this video, right? These are just some of my thoughts, but honestly, that is some of my best work, right? But there is one thing that bothers me a lot when it comes to language learning. And it baffles me that so many people who are studying languages, they're still sacrificing so much time on learning grammar. Now, I'll tell you why that is a problem, right? For 90% of you people, you are not studying a language specifically for a job, right? You are studying languages because you have this dream of accessing new cultures, right? Moving to a different place, making friends there. And doing that on a global scale even, right? Have friends in multiple countries, which is what this channel is all about. Then grammar is basically useless. The way that you will get there is through vocabulary. I mean, it should be obvious. It should be obvious. You have the right amount of words, and you need those words in order to make friends, in order to create relationships. Without those words, even if you have perfect grammar, if you don't have the vocabulary, then it's all for nothing, because you won't be able to use the words, right? You won't be able to use real sentences because the words are missing. Oh, now you're saying, I need some grammar, right, Nishad? I need some basic grammar. And yes, you need very, very basic grammar, right? You need to learn how to conjugate. That is one thing. Then you need to learn one future tense and one past tense, right? Because some languages, they have multiple future tenses and past tenses or even present tenses. Just focus on one of each. Because even if you use the wrong past tense, for example, nobody cares, right? People will still understand you, and that is the main objective. That is the only thing you should focus on. And even when it comes to conjugation, in a lot of languages, you have irregular verbs, for example. Now, let me make you a very simple example in Spanish, right? Usually, when you end the verb in the first person singular, then you end it with the letter O, right? So, tener, which means to have, should be teno. But it's an irregular verb, so teno becomes yo tengo. But, I mean, imagine, if you try to learn all of these irregular verbs, if you go up to somebody who speaks Spanish and you say, yo tengo una manzana, for example, I have an apple. Now, this person knows that it is actually yo tengo una manzana, but if you use teno instead of yo tengo, they will still understand you, and most of the time, people will still correct you, so you already have the irregular verb in your mind without even having to learn it. And now imagine how much more motivating that is. You focus on vocabulary. The more you focus on vocabulary, the faster you can go out into the real world and connect. Nobody cares if you use the wrong grammar. Even native speakers. I mean, look at rappers, for example. They have their own way of speaking, and it is not grammatically correct. But still, people do understand them, right, for the most part. And so, focus on vocabulary and forget grammar. Forget grammar. I feel like I need to drill it into you guys' head. Grammar will not help you connecting with people. You need to have the vocabulary. And a lot of people, they also have some kind of mental block, right? They think like, well, if I speak to that native person and I butcher the grammar, what will they think of me? Well, honestly, like most native speakers also butcher the grammar of their own language. It's just a way of speaking, but nobody cares. And obviously this native speaker, even though he speaks in the wrong way, right? It's still a native speaker. This person is still considered fluent, right? Even if somebody is illiterate, people will still consider them fluent. So you shouldn't be so hard on yourself for using the wrong type of grammar. The most important thing, and that's why you need to get out and talk to real people, is the feedback that you get, right? Do people understand what you're saying? If they don't, it's not because of grammar, it's because of vocabulary. I mean, please, forget grammar. Only focus on the basics. One future tense, one past tense, one present tense, obviously, and conjugation. And so the faster you can go out into the real world, people will correct you, and then you can build your vocabulary through that, right? or your grammar even, because people will correct you. And then you'll automatically have the context behind it. And even if you hear somebody say yo tengo una manzana, most likely through context, you will kind of understand what they're saying. And then therefore, you know that it's an irregular verb. So focus on vocabulary and forget grammar. Now, the next thing I want you to do is to join the free online community that I have. It's called the Chameleon Society. Once you join for free, you'll automatically get 2 PDFs on how to build a social circle all around the world and also have a mission for the journeys that you will tackle, right? So, always remember, blend in, stand out, and belong anywhere. Take care.